Hey everyone, welcome back to part 3, joined with Danny Boyle. So we are going to be talking about alternative investments and entrepreneurship from a business owner's perspective, and perhaps actually what is a business owner doing with the profits, or what could you do with the profits? So I suppose the first question is, Danny, do you have any interests in investments? I know we were talking off camera. Yeah. But is it a case of pumping all profits back into the business, or do you get to a stage where you go, actually, I might diversify?
Yeah, I mean, I think a large percentage of the British public just automatically say, as soon as they've got some money, property. Yeah. You know, it's bricks and mortar, it's old school, it's a proven model, it works. But like I was talking about earlier, you know, I follow certain people on Instagram and on LinkedIn and on YouTube that say the easiest way is to invest in another sector that coincides with what you're already doing, because you've already got a certain amount of knowledge. By the time, you know, if you make a certain amount of money, then you want to go and invest in a completely new field. It's going to take so long to get educated on that field. Yeah. Ultimately, it's about what you want. If it's money, then it makes sense to invest in something that you already know about. So for us, we're going to create and design all our own personal parts. So all our brands, we're going to design our own roofs, our own kitchens, you know, everything. We're going to design it ourselves. We're going to stamp it all up over the next 2 or 3 years, get it all logoed up, and then we're going to run that coincide. We'll be selling parts to all the vehicles, and then we'll look at something else in the same field. It don't seem to make a lot of sense for me, although I would love to do something in property renovation. I think quite a lot of people have that person that comes to property. It just don't seem like the to-do thing for me to go and jump into something completely new. Because if I'm going to do it, I'm going to want to do it properly, and I'm going to want to do it.
Involved.
Yeah, I want to get you know, really make a success out of it. Because if anything, this has given me it's the appetite. Do you know what I mean? So. Yeah. But again, it's I would personally find something that coincides with what you're already doing, and then if you can make money that way, you're already halfway there. Yeah. And then, because ultimately, like you say, it's just down to the figures. If it is money, so if you can, or you know, if you can generate quickly, if you're, let's say, camper vans, for example, I'm involved in camper vans and I'm selling parts. I already know people that buy parts. I already know people that I buy a lot of parts. Yeah. So the first person to benefit from selling parts would be me. And ultimately, you look at the numbers at the end of 3 years, as long as the market's there, by the time you would have got a half wit about doing up houses, and you're 3 or 4 years down the line, you know, you're already quids in, like you're already like potentially millions of pounds up, you know, because you already know what you're doing there. And not only will it generate revenue, it's another valuable business. It will have a sale value, but as long as the market's
a lot of business owners I know also say the same thing. So actually we're going to be talking about it in another video, but is where people tend to jump from one thing to another. You know, they never really settle down in something and get to know it. And you just said it is about the education. If you're going to invest in something, well, you're going to need to be educated, commit to it, all of that.
Yeah, or else again, it's being purely reckless.
Yeah.
Why do what everyone else is doing just because they're doing it?
Yeah.
You know, if it is what we touched on earlier, it's not always about money, but if it is about money, surely if there is a market for it, you will go and do something that coincides with what you're already doing. You already know what you're talking about. You can go to suppliers. You haven't got to start again, if you will. Don't get me wrong, people will be watching this and say, well, you just go and buy a house and rent it out. Of course you do, but the returns ain't all that great.
Yeah.
You know, nowhere near what you would get
as a business.
Yeah, as a business, and ultimately, if money is what you're after, that's all that matters. That's all that matters, you know. If it's something you're passionate about and it's something you want to do, then absolutely great. But if it's money, you just go where the money is. It's that simple. Don't do something just because it's the in thing to do. It's the trendy thing to do. You know, there's quite a lot of people that do that, and you know, and end up kicking themselves. They have one go at something, and all of a sudden they think, they think they can just jump and do everything else at the same time, just because everyone else is doing it. Like, for example, cryptocurrency. Yeah. Not for me. Yeah. I'm perfectly fine. I personally believe, from what I have had a little look into it, I can make far more money
in a business.
Yeah, doing what I'm doing now. I can make far more money doing something similar to what I'm doing now, but in the civil engineering sector. Yeah. Converting vehicles for the construction industry. a lot of the same things. I follow a lot of the same people on LinkedIn. You know, again, like I was saying earlier, I've seen it, I know what to do. I can just literally, I don't even have to move factory.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I can do it exactly where I'm doing it now. I buy all the parts of the same people I'm buying them off now. I wouldn't have to do anything. I'd make, you know.
Do you think that's a marketing? Do you think that's where people get bombarded? Because like you just said, property isn't the best way to make money. I mean, it just has a huge amount of marketing where it forces people into thinking property is the way to go. But I totally agree that when you say that actually running a business is cash flow, it will generate your net worth. I think property, when you look at property as the alternative investment as a business owner, all that's really going to do, it's not going to replace your business income.
No.
It will help your net worth grow over time.
There's very. The thing with property, I find, it's my own personal opinion, is there's it's absolutely solid at one end.
Yeah.
So okay, the returns aren't great, but then at the other end you've got high risk, big profits. You know, so there's always going to be, when you debate about investments or speak about investments, someone's always going to say, yeah, but you're guaranteed your money in property, you can't beat bricks and mortar. It all depends what part of the scale of property they're talking about. There's always going to be an argument.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? They can say, well, you can guarantee you're going to earn money. Well, that's absolutely fine. But
Voids, issues.
yeah, for example, if you were to buy a house where I'm from Coventry for £200,000, you get a return of 2%, 3%. You then move someone in, yeah, but you get the rental income. What if they don't pay?
Yeah.
What if you can't get them out?
Yeah.
Well, I know the chances are they are going to pay, but these are all factors. What if they damage stuff? What if the very little return you've already got, it only takes the property market to slow down a little bit as well, so you can't even go to but the capital growth. You might not get no capital growth either. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I'd stick to doing something that you know is going to pay in a field that you know you're good at and knowledgeable before you start jumping into something that just everyone says is great.
I think there's also confusion around, certainly from my experience as well, is there's confusion around when people see and hear about cryptocurrency and they see the lifestyle of someone living abroad, the laptop, the swimming pool, they're under the assumption that there's an income there. There's actually not. They're not taking dividends.
Yeah.
You know, crypto is like gold. You know, I buy gold to sit on it for 20 years.
Yeah.
So my son can inherit the gold. Property you inherit. So I think due to the marketing, people think, I need to invest in this, I need to invest in that. And actually, like Mark Wright, when I was interviewing Mark Wright, you know, he said, what's the point in investing £500? Save 50,000 and then look to invest, because the return will be that much more on 50 than it would be 500.
Yeah.
But so, you know, is there anything that you think, oh, I'd quite like to have that in order to grow my wealth long term? You know, is gold or, you know, watches or cars, is it anything else sort of spark an interest in the future or now?
I'm going to concentrate on exactly what I've got. That many projects that I want to bounce off after this, but then, you know, I'd never say never to something that comes along, but it would more than likely be partnership based, someone that I know, again, someone that I trust. I wouldn't do anything mega high risk.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. There's no such thing as a get rich quick scheme.
Yeah.
There's thousands of them about. They don't exist. You know, people think that it just doesn't happen. I've been burnt personally in the past, so I am ultra double careful. So yeah, for me, I'm just going to stick to exactly what I'm doing, and if I can jump onto something similar that will give me the same returns that I'm getting now. I mean, you know, there are people that are out there that are starting up businesses. There's not as many as you'd think. If you watch LinkedIn or Instagram, there are starting businesses that are starting from scratch and they're making mega money. You know, do what they're doing. But I'm perfectly happy plodding along with what I've got now. Maybe switch it up a little bit. But if I can get 100% returns every year in growth, you know, it's not sustainable forever. But the past 3 years, that's been the case.
Why would you deviate?
And I believe, why if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That saying isn't always true. You should strive to be better all the time. Yeah. But as of now, where we are at, if it isn't broke, don't fix it. Yeah. You know, we're perfectly happy with how things are going. You know, a really good example, more than a really good example, Oliver Cookson. Have you ever heard of Oliver Cookson?
I haven't, no.
He was the founder of My Protein.
Right, oh, okay, yeah.
He founded My Protein. He's from a council estate in Manchester. Started with 500 quid, sold for 350 million.
Yeah, that's insane.
unbelievable. His podcast is amazing. I'm waiting for his book to come out on Audible. I like to listen to him on the way to work,
Yeah.
way back. Like we were talking about earlier, time management.
Yeah.
It's absolutely crucial. If you've got history or whatever it is on the way to work, get it switched off. Find out someone who's not necessarily selling the same product as you, but on the same journey as you found on LinkedIn. Has he got a podcast? Listen to him. They will tell you exactly what they've done. And that's what I do with Oliver Cookson. I literally his podcast on every single day, and he's from the same background as me. You know, he's suffered the same problems as me, and I'm literally
can really relate.
Yeah, brilliant. That's the beauty of it. It's always
as an entrepreneur, what would be, as we sort of wrap up part 3, what would be your so that was a great book recommendation, so rewind that if you didn't hear it. What would be your top tips to an entrepreneur to stay motivated and not hit that brick wall? Because I know, you know, we've all felt it, you know, that the biggest killer is sort of crashing, you know, getting overwhelmed and taking on too much. So what would be your top tips to any other entrepreneur?
I know it sounds like that I'm on repeat, but again, that is the point where a lot of people stop. Well, they hit the brick wall.
Yeah.
Fuck this.
Yeah, I'm out.
I'm out.
Yeah.
The only reason you need is the people that do make it. Don't give up them.
Yeah.
And if you go again and find them people on LinkedIn, find them people on YouTube. I know I keep going on about it.
Yeah, I'm a big believer.
It is the key. They will tell you what to do. They don't give up. They will tell you about instances on their YouTube channels, on their podcasts, where they've experienced the same as you, and they'll tell you what they've done to get through it.
Yeah.
You've got to watch distractions. Kids are not a distraction, family's not a distraction. That's part and parcel of life.
Yeah.
Who you hang around with, what you're doing. If you're trying to manage too much social life and stuff like that, just cut it out.
Yeah.
Just cut out them cancers along the way. Any success cancer that you've got, just get rid of it. If that's people that are dragging you out Friday night, whatever it may be, slowing you down, just completely get rid of it. But the answers, again, the beauty of that internet is it's all there as long as you are following the right people. Everyone knows who the right people are.
Yeah.
You know, they know they're world famous. And they will say, a lot of people have this like, they think that all successful people are, he won't talk to me, he won't help me,
Yeah.
And you think that people who are more, especially from my sort of background, the council estate, oh yeah, it's really down to earth, he'll help you. Like I said to you earlier about your Facebook friends sharing stuff, you've got it the wrong way around. Like, them people will not help you. They don't want you to get on.
Yeah.
You go, every single person, I've got some incredibly successful friends now. Incredibly. I met them for a friend of mine, Kirk Miller. Do you know Kirk?
Heard of it.
Yeah, as an online body transformation specialist. I've met through him, and they're incredibly successful, and they will break their back to help you.
Give you the time of day.
They will break their back. They love nothing more because they've been there themselves.
I can see it in you.
Do you know what I mean? They've been there themselves and they know what you're going through. It's like when I very first started and I had I think it was the second van I bought, I sold the first one. I told you before I sold it in minutes, but the second one, it had elements of it that a lot of customers don't want. This is where I was educated, I didn't know. It looked lovely, looked the part. Couldn't sell it, couldn't get a phone call, couldn't get an email, and I got a little bit of land off a lad that I know that was saying you can rent a bit of land, and I was there till probably 9:30 on a Sunday night one night, waiting for a customer to come out. They said I'll be there at 4:30. The reason people are saying, well, we just go home, I never had no money. Like I was $4,500 in debt, I couldn't afford to pay my bills, so I had, because they're expensive things at 25 grand each,
Yeah.
I had to sell that van to get my bills paid.
Yeah.
I had people ringing my phone, landlord, people rent, people started to sit there, they waited till 8:30 at night, they're definitely out, they didn't turn up.
Jesus.
Yeah, and then 2 nights later, someone else come out, maybe wait till late at night again, nah, don't want it. And it's them sort of times that make you, do you know what I mean? They are like, and I was getting the phone ring all the time, bills ain't paid, the letters coming through the door. I had people who the flat I was living in, where's my rent money?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You finally sold it in the end, do you know what I mean? I finally got rid of it,
Yeah.
and then but like you said, about when you hit the brick wall, it's the people that go through the brick wall that end up being successful. A lot of them just turn knock it on the head.
Amazing. So much value there, Danny. Well, all I can say is thank you for joining. There's part 1, 2 and 3. If you've missed any of them, go check them out. I'll include the links below. Danny, where can people connect and find you and check out your website?
Okay, so the website is platinumwavecampers.com. We're based in Solihull, and you'll be able to find that online. My personal Instagram, Danny Boyle, PwC 1983. You can also find me on LinkedIn as well.
Awesome. Pleasure to have you on, Danny. Appreciate it. Cheers.